Today, let's talk about the power that comes from deciding to become a professional. Or in other words, leaving the life of an amateur behind and becoming a pro. Now, there's actually a great book on this topic called Turning Pro by a gentleman named Stephen Pressfield. I've given away hundreds of copies of this book to my coaching students and friends. So there's obviously a big difference between being an amateur and being a professional, but every pro was once an amateur. But many people keep one foot in each camp and go towards success halfway or dabbling in a dabbling sort of way. Now, what you're going to find is that amateurs hope for a better life and professionals work to make it happen. There's a quote from Estee Lauder where she says, "I never dreamed about success, I worked for it." Now, I don't necessarily agree with her about the not dreaming part, because I believe you should dream for success. Dreaming precedes goal setting, which precedes planning, which precedes working towards that goal. But the key in that statement is that she worked for it. Now, a professional doesn't just dream. Being a professional is about a lot of things, including doing the work, even when you don't feel like it. The best professionals I know love what they do, so they don't distinguish between their work and their play. So if you don't love real estate, either learn to love it by associating pleasure with it or do something else. Life is too short, my friend, to not do what it is you love. Now, being a professional is not something you try to label yourself with, but something you work to have others describe you as. Being a professional instead of an amateur means you're not just doing it for the money. You're doing it because it feeds your soul. Sometimes being a professional involves acting as if, like Muhammad Ali's quote, "To be a great champion, you must believe you are the best. And if you're not, you pretend that you are." A professional realizes it's not just about the skill of being able to do something, it's about having the will and determination and commitment to continually be their best. A professional is also continually improving. A professional realizes that they'd rather hustle and do whatever it takes, including working nights and weekends, than to be a slave at a 9 to 5. The professional ignores the opinion of others, where the amateur craves third-party validation. Professional has self-compassion, whereby the amateur in their heart knows that they're hiding. They know that they're meant for better things. The professional learns the program, whatever it is, and works the program. The professional embraces their ambition and recognizes that to not act on that ambition is to turn their back on the universe, turn their back on their creator and our very reason for existence. A professional cuts out all the distractions. Now, the biggest difference between an amateur and professional is what they habitually do. An amateur has amateur habits, whereby a professional embraces habits that are going to drive them towards their success. The professional creates those habits for success, and then they become a creature of those successful habits. The professional is constantly working for tomorrow and working to be the best version of themselves that they can possibly be. Now, very often this transition from amateur to a professional comes from an epiphany, a moment. I was just interviewing one of my coaching students on my podcast a while back, and one of my warriors, and he spoke about how his teenage son called him a wimp for not taking action on his dreams. And for him, that was a catalyst for him becoming a professional. That was his epiphany. Sometimes that's what it takes. It takes a life event or to build up enough disgust to finally decide no more playing around, not another minute, not another second. A professional takes 100% responsibility for their lives. They hold themselves completely accountable for the results, and they also own their mistakes. A professional gives their all the time. Now, I love this quote by Shawn Mendes when he was speaking about working with Taylor Swift. He said, "It was incredible being on tour with Taylor Swift because she was the epitome of being a professional, and she worked so hard. For someone as successful as her to work that hard every night was truly inspirational." So, my friend, if you want success, and I know you do, then it's just a decision. You have to decide to leave that amateur life behind and become a pro. I'm Rod Khleif, wishing you a magnificent life filled with incredible passion and massive success because you decided to become a professional.